Hello and welcome to our EV meeting. Here you can see who is presenting tonight. It's a fairly long presentation or meeting, so if you don't want to watch the whole thing or listen to it, just pick out what you want to look and listen to. Our meeting location was different this time. We gathered at the Tesla Service Center in Rocklin. This is northwest of Sacramento, and it's very interesting with all the solar panels. We had a lot of different cars, but the main attraction was a Tesla X. The owner of the car, a retired teacher, had bought this vehicle with the money he got from selling his Macintosh computer. It was one of the first computers from Apple. Was able to get a good price for it and has a Tesla X now. He's very proud of the car, and the vehicle got a lot of attention. People would sit in it, try it out, see if it fits their needs or not. One of the main attractions of the Tesla X SUV style car are the folding side doors for the passengers in the second row. It was interesting to see how they close and open back up, and people had a lot of fun just watching this procedure.
Okay, welcome. Welcome to the joint Sacramento Electric Vehicles and Northern California Reno
NorCalReno Tesla Owners Club.
Tesla Owners Club. So we're going to have a pretty full packed agenda tonight. We'll keep it fast-paced. I'd like to ask the speakers to please try to keep to their time so that we respect everybody's presence here. So just a couple quick things. Facilities, if they need to use restrooms, they're in the back, go out the back door.
Go out this door, take a left, and it's the first door on your left.
All right. How many people are new SacEV members that haven't been to a meeting before? Yay. Oh, that's good. All right. Well, I hope you enjoy this and find it worthwhile and will join us again. I mentioned a moment ago for a 3-month free trial for the Electric Auto Association, our mothership, as it were. We're a chapter of the Electric Auto Association. Please sign up for that. After 3 months, if you like the magazine, you like what we're doing, you can sign up for a regular annual membership. I think it starts around $35 a month. So, I'm sorry? I'm sorry. Thank you. Never make a mistake in this group, though. So, thank you. Also, I'd like to welcome the Chico Electric Auto Association group. Do you want to just wave to everyone? All right. So we work together a bit on events and such. All right. I'd like to also thank Tesla Motors for hosting us here tonight. Let's give a round for Tesla. I'm told afterwards they have a little in the back. They have an unveiling of something called the 3, but you have to ask one of the Tesla guys.
I'll be talking.
Oh, there we go. I'll have to do that quite often, I think. Also, ChargePoint is sponsoring the food you have had tonight, the refreshments. So let's give them a round as well. And lastly, yet again, Eugene Dunlap, who videotapes these and puts these up on the web, cleans them up, makes them a good presentation with YouTube. So if you miss it, you'll be able to catch it on the web. Okay, let's go on. You can see we have a pretty quick agenda there. Just a quick note. How many people have wondered about how the handicap places overlap with electric car charging? Ever run into any of that? Yeah, well, they've just finalized the rules on that, which become official in the building code, becomes official starting January 1st. They also increased the amount of required electric vehicle charging stations, at least the infrastructure for the charging stations, in any new parking lot or parking structure. So they're going to, any new building that goes in with a parking lot in it will have to be pre-wired for an increased number of stations. Up to about roughly around 6% of the parking lot spaces will have to be pre-wired for electric charging stations. And the cities and counties can actually get more aggressive to 10%. So that's going to help accelerate the availability of that charging out there. Now you've seen the universal handicap sign. If you see a charging space with that sign in California, you really cannot park there. All right. Now what they are going to do is to make a certain number of spaces available that with charging that are just wider and meet the requirements for the Americans with Disabilities Act. So there'll be special ones, but they will be not signed with that. After they get to a certain number of charging stations, then there will be restricted ones that will have that sign on it as well. So that sign will govern whether or not you can park there if you don't have a placard. Also, when it hits 5 stations, they have to have at least one that's restricted. And this is only for new buildings and new construction. And just because a car has that placard doesn't mean that they can go to a charging space, signed or unsigned, and just stay there. All the EV charging requirements still apply. If it says 2 hours, that car has to leave within 2 hours. All right, just a quick update for you. We'll get you more on the web. I want to go forward, jump forward to introduce Bruce on from the North Bay Electric Auto Association chapter.
My name is Bruce Nyden. I live in Bodega Bay, California, and I'm in my 2nd month as the new president of the North Bay Electric Automobile Association. Some of you I know Alan Soule, who has been a dedicated individual for the past 4 years, and so I have big shoes to fill. Also, I would like to thank Guy Hall and the SacEV Club for reaching out, inviting us over here. I'm learning a lot from you guys already just through the email and link interchanges, so this is great. So I'd also like to point out Doron Amaron. If you haven't met him in the conversation, he's from our own Center for Climate Protection based in Santa Rosa, California, and he's in the Drive It Forward. He leads the Drive It Forward campaign, which is part of the Center for Climate Protection's initiative to transition people to electric vehicles. I was trying to pick just a couple of slides to illustrate some of the things that we do. Obviously, I can't cover every aspect in 5 minutes, but here's our stats, basically. We meet the 2nd Saturday of every month. I'm the new president. Our webmaster, Mike Newell, has sort of a 2-year history, I think, as the webmaster, and the sort of honorary position now that I've coined for Alan Soule as the Roadmaster. He's going to be doing the 80 EDAs event this spring. This is our host. Whoops, back up. This is our host, Brian Hall. I should mention, spent in EVs for several decades, back to electric motorcycles. His shop has generously provided as our meeting place. He's got electric skateboards, electric wheelbarrows, old electric motorcycles. This fascinating guy, loves electric cars, is very generous at heart, and that's a Coda on the rack in the background, and I think I heard him say he is the only authorized Coda repair person ever, anywhere. So this is our stats here, EVs in Sonoma County. This is the last 2 or 3 years. The full electrics are in blue, and the green is plug-in hybrids. We like to think we're helping to make a difference for the stats in our area. As I mentioned in the slide, we have approximately 70 paid members, and there's kind of cross-membership. I see a few member-like people that are kind of rotating around, exchanging ideas and stuff. That's great. and we have about 230 on our mailing list. At least that's what was handed to me by Alan. We have the advantage of having a few things a little bit closer to us than to you. We have an emphasis on renewable energy sources for charging. We have a geothermal plant that is kind of in this, up here in this neighborhood. And Solmetric is also very close to us. Solmetric is actually now under the shell of Vivant and may soon be under SunEdison. Solmetric does test equipment for measuring irradiance and also tests photovoltaics, battery backup, switching mechanisms for microgrids. And then Switch Vehicles builds these educational kits. They're also in Sebastopol near to us. So just a couple of things that have been going on. Here's the ADE Days event that Alan's participating in. This is an event sponsored by the Center for Climate Protection called the Business for Clean Energy, and it's we met at this zero carbon, it's called Somo Village. I lived in Sonoma County for 12 years, didn't know it was here. And we had an EV show for the businessmen in conjunction with this meeting. It was a great early morning breakfast. Also like to emphasize that we work closely with Jared Huffman's office. Congressman Huffman is in the 2nd District, and he's very favorable to renewable energy, supportive of renewable energy and EVs. And one of the things that Alan has done for the past 4 years is to give Congressman Huffman a ride through the Petaluma Butter and Eggs Day Parade. So Huffman's district covers part of Sonoma County and part of Marin County, so we overlap with some of those folks as well. And then we have a few members that like to do independent activities and then bring the rest of the crew in. I took advantage of an opportunity. My wife was going down to Sydney for a meeting. I said, hey, I'm going to call up the AEVA guys down there. And so I had the opportunity to give 2 presentations, one at the Sydney chapter and one at the Brisbane chapter. The Sydney chapter, I met a woman who has the only fleet of Tesla limos in Sydney. And the chapter president, Boy, you can tell they're real sort of auto converters and builders down there. This is a Suzuki van that he's converted, and he's been using it for 4 years. So he's quite an interesting character. And then up in Brisbane, they meet under a freeway overpass in this kind of old World War II vintage hall. And they actually, this guy actually, he was doing the Vehicle of the Month show, and he was building this from the ground up, you know, everything, shocks, frame. So it's a very interesting group, but they're very enthusiastic, and they would love to move more towards renewable energy, but are kind of stymied a little bit by some politicians in the Australian government. And that's my ending slide. This is the end of the road in Sonoma County. It's right out in my neighborhood, and one of the rare unfoggy days, I took my car out and took a picture.
So I think the next person really almost doesn't need an introduction. Bonnie Norman is so well known in the Tesla and the EV community in general that if it has anything to do with EVs and activities along Tesla, she knows about it. And she's going to introduce NorCalReno Tesla Owners Club.
Right.
So Bonnie,
So this is a SacEV meeting, but we crashed it. So, Guy, how do I advance slides? This guy is for advancing slides. I got it. I'm good. So, I got it. So this is our new logo, which was conveniently supplied to us by Tesla. Yay, we have an agreement with Tesla, so we're an official club recognized by them, which allows us to use some of their branding. And there's some other benefits I'm going to talk about. Now, a lot of you aren't Tesla owners and you have other EVs. It's okay, because some of our events are for everybody. And some of the things that we're doing are for everybody. So Becky's handing out some things right now that I'll talk about in a sec, but So I'm just going to give you a quick club overview. Basically what our agreement with Tesla, what that gets us as a club, because we get some definite benefits. A few upcoming events that we have happening, and purpose of the club, education, we'll talk about that. And then what I'm sure a few of you want to know about is what's going on March 31st here at the store for reserving a Model 3. Is there anybody here interested in that? Or Yes, okay. And I'm going to sign some of you up to help here at the store with crowd control that day. Okay? So we have two goals for the club, just two. One is to have fun, and the other one is supply education for new EV owners. So what that means, and we'll talk about that in a second, we have a website, and I'll show you a little bit about that. There's no charge for membership, and I'll tell you how we're going to make money anyway, because we have to have money paid. And we're licensed by Tesla. So this year, I've taken the club president role. Laura Odenthal, Laura, where are you? Over there, is in charge of all events. And Omar Sultan, who couldn't be here because he's caught in Bay Area traffic, he had to work late this evening, he helped me put the website. We put the website together. He did all the work in a week. And it's a beautiful website. Tesla has asked if they can share it with other clubs to use. So please go out and check it out. So to have fun and provide support to new owners, well, we'll talk about those in a sec. I just want to get through and not use my whole 15 if I can. And we have these cards. If you want to join the club, all you have to do is go online to NorCalReno.com. Yeah, we have plenty of the cards, or you can sign up here tonight. I'll just put my laptop out and you can put your info in. So, because we're licensed by Tesla, they gave us the logo and some branding that we can use. They also are going to give us once a year a merchandise discount for anything in the store, not buying a car, but yeah, I know, but anything in the store. So the club can do a one-time annual buy each year and receive 35% off. What we're going to do is, yes, we're going to give club members 20% off, and we're going to put 15% in the club coffers. So full transparency, that's how we're going to fund a lot of our events and start getting a bank account together. But I think it's a good deal for everybody. We get a little bit of money in the bank. We'll probably do it in November is what I'm thinking, because we'll have the club membership up. Christmas is coming, other things. So I'm thinking November. So if you want to start thinking about that, and just know anything in the store, you'll get a 20% discount if you're a club member. It's a good deal, and it's free to join the club, so why wouldn't you, right? We get to use the Tesla facilities for special events, so I just have to work that out with them. And then they have different round tables, user feedback kind of things, and they want to be able to tap the clubs to provide them with that information. So it's a two-way street. So it seems like a pretty good deal. So we signed up and we're going for it. So I talked about that. So right now, what Laura just handed out and Becky handed out, one of our sponsors for one of our events sent us, EV Annex, sent us these great charge tags. And on one side, you just leave this hanging on your car when it's charging. You can put your phone number on or how to text you. On one side it says it's okay to unplug me. I'm just here charging, opportunity charging. On the other side it says don't unplug me, but here's how you can contact me, or it might be okay after a certain time. What's really nice about this, now for a Model S owner, you can't pull the plug on the car at a supercharger, but your information's still on here. And if the Model S is charging at a J1772, for instance, yes, they could unplug. Any other EV, this is handy, and I've used something similar to this, not as nice looking, for years. So it's really a nice thing. And the other nice thing you'll notice is it gives good charging etiquette at the bottom. So for new owners, it is helpful in terms of telling them how they should be behaving. Okay? So that's from EV Annex. You need something? No? What happened?
Just timed out on that slide.
Okay, thank you. Thanks. Okay, so I've got just a few more minutes. So we have some upcoming events that are out on the website. George Parrott's on the March 16th. He's arranged another Tesla performance testing at the Raceway. So if you're interested in that, you can sign up there. I'm going to skip the March 31st here for a second. May 14th, we're doing our first club fundraiser. It's called a poker run that Laura's been advertising, and anybody's free to join in if you can make the miles. If not, we'll get you paired up with somebody driving a Model S. But basically, you'll get a map, and there's no point in being the first one through because it's whoever has the best poker hand at the end. So each stop, you stop and draw a card. And we have different sponsors who will be supplying refreshments and some prizes at each stop. And you draw a card, and whoever has the best hand at the end wins some prizes. So obviously there's a buy-in to get into the poker run. I think it's $20 for the driver and $10 for each additional person. And then if you get bad cards, you get to keep paying to get better cards. It's a fundraiser, come on. So Laura will have more information about this. We've got some maps printed up, probably not enough, but the information will be out on the website too. Okay? So that's what's going on with that. And then Party at Picnic Creek. I know a couple of you, Guy was at it a few years ago. Jack, you were there. David, you were there. Anybody else at Party at Picnic Creek a few years ago? There's Becky, of course, yeah. So I live near here. I've got about 3 acres, and we just turned it into an EV party. Solar City was there. We had live music. We had barbecue going on. We had the pool was. What's going on? Just have to keep this moving. It's taking into my time. Anyway. So there'll be information about the party at Picnic Creek, and it's usually a good time. I've got one sponsor already who contacted me, wants to be there. He's bringing all sorts of electric bikes, setting up a retro lemonade stand for everybody. There's a possibility we're going to have a world-class Irish fiddler there who has been declared a national treasure in Ireland because he's playing the night before at my place for a wedding that's over there. So Kevin's thinking he's going to stay. And we've got a separate slide on March 31st. But the important thing to remember is if you go to the website, I'm working with the Tesla store here, and we'll be publishing all the information on logistics for the 31st on our website. So you don't need to call the store. You can just go to the website and find out all the information. Co-pilot program and classes. This was just going to be Tesla, but Guy and I have talked, and there wasn't much arm twisting required. Chelsea Sexton was already on me about it. So what we're doing is you can register on the site. We're going to open it up to other cars besides Tesla, so you can register on the site. If you feel you're an experienced EV driver and you're willing to help a new driver who might be confused about what are all these different charging levels, what do I need to know about adapters, I'm going on my first road trip, how do I find places to plug? Please volunteer to be a co-pilot for them. You'll just be somebody they can call when they have a quick question or they don't understand. So if you're a Leaf owner, we will try to sign you up with somebody who has a Leaf that's in your neighborhood, right? Because you obviously would know more about that car than a Tesla owner would. So we'll try to work through that together, okay? Make sense? And then the other thing we're going to do, and I'm going to tap Tesla owners mostly for this, is just set up very similar to this. We're going to start education classes here in the store, kind of like Apple does. So, hey, you're taking your first road trip, stories from the road, things you can learn from actual owners. So we'll do a weekly class here at the store with different people teaching it, just to help people. So this is the slide everybody really wants, right? Model 3 reservations, March 31st. Now remember, if you wait till April 1st, you can sign up online. You do not have to come to the store unless you want to be part of the craziness. We will have the information on the website. The line is going to form at this front door. Don't think you're going to get to be smart and I'm an owner and I'm just in here to check on some different things and I'll just kind of sneak in before 10 o'clock. Now do it because, hold on David, because what we're going to do is we are going to keep people at the door and Tesla salespeople will say when they're ready for the next person for reservations and we will bring them in through that line. So you have to be in the line. Yes, David?
But what if we are working?
Then the next morning, oh, if you come over to help?
Yes.
Well, we can talk. Well, then,
I'm not going to wait till even the day to sign up.
no. So certainly if you're working with crowd control and parking, we'll work something out. Yeah. So right now it looks like it's 10 a.m. That could change, but right now that's where the store is. They're getting bits and pieces of info too. So we'll keep it updated on the website. I am going to have a sign-up list. Laura will have it back here at this table for people that are willing to help that day. I need what times you can help and, you know, if you can help all day or just a portion of the day and your contact info so we can get a hold of you to let you know. Okay? Any questions on this? Yes.
What are you thinking about when people are going to show up for that line? I'm thinking that it's going to
I think there will be people here the night before.
Yeah, so is there any chance that Tesla can have the bathrooms open for it?
No. But it's a fair question, but no.
A porta potty?
Maybe one of you guys could arrange one. Yeah. Rent a camper. Okay. So that's it. Wait, go ahead. I've just got one more thing, guy. Go ahead.
Do people who volunteer give preference on reservations?
Yeah. We certainly, if you can work that day and you're here, we certainly aren't going to make you wait till the end of the day to reserve your car. So, yeah. So, okay, so last thing, Laura showed you the business cards. We also have, look, she made these great shirts for us. Isn't that, yeah. So eventually we'll have those to offer on the site. We also have, we got to charge for these though, lapel pins with the NorCalReno. So if you want one, if you're a pin collector, they're $5. So we'll have a bag of those over there too. And I think that's it. Okay.
Again, thank you. It's, I think we're about got everybody here, and we actually have enough chairs. I was afraid we wouldn't. So there's some standing room in the back. Anyway, as you know, we've got a wide variety of members in the Sacramento Electric Vehicles Association. We have from engineers to educators, from gearheads to geologists. Laura, where are you? She's our board geologist, registered geologist. So from gearheads to geologists, we have from bureaucrats to business folks. Just all people from all over the board that are interested and excited about EVs. Well, we're going to continue that tonight. We have to introduce Jim Pelley, who is a professional speaker and comic for over 28 years, including having written material for the first Saturday Night Lives. Now, I've got to ask you, were the first Saturday Night Lives better than the more recent? Those who think so? Oh, yeah, yeah. So we can thank Jim for some of that, I imagine. He has delivered presentations and motivational speaking to almost, you're approaching 3,000. And you even gave me a list of some of them. I couldn't memorize these. I had to write them down. We're talking about Intel, American Express, Pepsi, Chevron, Walt Disney Company, Motorola, Ritz-Carlton, Casket and Funeral Supply Association of America. Really? Twice. That's not a place I visit twice. It says I want to visit twice. Anyway, so I'd like to introduce Jim Pelley to give his take on the EV world.
You can fire up the screen. For the next 2.5 hours I have in my talk. Tasting, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, I've got the little advancer. That's how I go. That's me with a big pencil. And that's my little science project. I am a co-founder of a software company called Ulink Network. We develop mobile app software, and this became our company mascot. It's a 2013 Chevy Volt. This is probably my favorite slide because shortly after this, the Highway Patrol came to see the car. You cannot park in front of the California State Archives, even though I was speaking there, and the event promoter wanted a photo of the car. And then, as I said, the next slide is the Highway Patrol coming. So what we did is we went to our members in Ulink and we wrapped it like a little urban NASCAR. So all of the company logos that you see on the car, they paid anywhere between $500 and $1,500 to get their logo on the car. My favorite is on the plug-in side. You can see there's a little plug-in just for humor. All right, moving right along. We were out at the last SacEV event. We've gone out to several. There's a little bit better shot of the plug-in that we put up front, a good sense of humor. We got the car. A good friend of mine is an owner, a Folsom Chevy, but we made him pay $500 for that as well. What really amazed me, these two gals are with the Business Journal, and the Business Journal had just missed getting their logo on the car, but wherever we would take the car for a company meeting or one of our events, I was always in awe of the fact people would say, could we get a photo with the car? Not with me, with the car. So we probably have 1,000 photos like that on our website of just people who wanted to be there, as it were. And this is actually a group of our members. This is the company that did the wrap, Bill McAnally Racing over in Roseville. They wrap actual NASCARs. So we got the real deal. A lot of people ask, what did it cost to wrap the car? About $4,000. About $1,500 to design the wrap so it didn't look all goofy. So about $6,000 just for the artwork and for the wrap, which was just about the exact amount of money we raised selling ads for the car. So it was pretty much a wash. And there's the car at one of our events over at the Fountains. And I would just find that people who were most fascinated by the car were 8-year-olds. You would be driving down the road and you would get a lot of that. And as all EV owners know all too well, can I sit inside? Can I look at it? And the Volt has its ever profound whoosh sound. And they would just want to turn the car on and off just to hear that all day long. But we had a lot of fun. The irony is the car is not here today because its lease was up a week ago. I have tried for 3 years to get to one of these meetings, and when guys said, you know, would you come and speak and share some of your insights, I said I would love to. I just can't bring the car. I don't own it anymore. And actually under the car, it's completely white. So even where you see blue, we covered it in white. The panels that are white are completely covered. Should you ever want to do a project like this, we were given some great advice. Instead of just putting decals on the car the size that the logos were, they said after 3 years the paint fade would cause a problem when you go to return it. It was a lease. So that was a little of our experience. This is probably my favorite shot. This is at Fountains on our way to the event, and one of the members snapped that little photo with our swoosh on it. So that's a little bit about the Ulink EV auto experiment. Question? Does the wrap come off then? It does. It's vinyl. It literally just peels right off. And they have to take some of the badging and the door handles off because it's tucked underneath. Yeah, they do. A lot of places in town do it. Great way to advertise your business. One of the reasons we did it is because the impressions for a wrap are very much like a billboard. That car is out in public every day, and you can see it has a QR code. So we had the QR code scanned thousands of times, and anyone who had a business that was on there, it had information about their business. So really fun project. Any other questions about the car? I'll share my observations about being an EV owner. We went out one day to buy a Mini Cooper, and that's what we ended up with. For Ulink, for a software company, for an app, for a brand, we wanted something kind of cool and hip and fun. And the irony is Mini Coopers were getting in short supply. 2013, gas price was going up. And again, my buddy Marshall, who owns Folsom Chevy, said, hey, have you ever driven a Volt? They're awesome. And I said, no, I would love to take one for 2 days and try it out. He gave it to me for 2 days. I didn't want to give it back. On the third day, we ordered one. Oh, do you have to get that? Just checking. And so that was really a great experience. Lifetime average with a car, about 72 miles to the EMPG gallon. Hooked up with a SMUD program. Actually met the SMUD folks at an EV event, the one that you had a block from our office in Folsom. What was that, 2 years ago? Heard about the charging program, got involved in that. Like I say, love the experience. Every day for me was a challenge. The Volt gets about 40 electric miles, was to never drive more than that. But we have Ulink partners and friends in Yuba City and Fresno, so I would drive that. Actually, coming back from Los Angeles over the Thanksgiving holiday, saw a whole bunch of all y'all Tesla owners waiting in line. No, it's just one of those funny things. Range anxiety is true for me, but I have to say this car has made me an absolute believer as a company car. And more interesting was coming to the events and seeing that the fact that the car was wrapped, people wanted to talk about it, they wanted to learn about it, both from the EV perspective as well as just why would you ever wrap a car, have some fun with it. It's kind of like if you like bumper stickers, this is the ultimate way to take that. We've had a tremendous amount of fun with it. It's sad that it's gone. I don't think we're going to do another company car again, although did see a pretty snappy Model X. Wasn't sure if a lot of people wanted to come hear me speak or the Model X or the, But I'd be glad to answer any questions about the car, about Ulink software, about Saturday Night Live. Yes, sir.
That's my Model X, and probably since you were talking about wraps, I should say to people, that's totally wrapped. That has 8 mil clear plastic everywhere. I'm figuring I'm keeping the car forever, and how do you take care of paint and whatever if you're not going to go wash the car every time a bird flies over?
There you go. And I got to tell you, vinyl slides right off. Bird poop.
Nobody looked at it and said, oh.
It's almost impossible to tell. And it's true. When you take the wrap off, 3 years later, we had a brand new car underneath. Other questions? Will I be the only speaker who ends early? Yes. When I got fired. Because everybody gets fired. Many of us are familiar with the actors that are on Saturday Night Live. 2, 3, 4 years is a good tenure. Lorne Michaels was rumored to have a sign on his desk that firings will continue until morale improves. In stand-up comedy, you're as good as your last gig. And prior to my tenure at Saturday Night Live, I toured. I did a lot of stand-up comedy. Some of the bigger clubs, Turlock, Modesto. Like someday, Rocklin, nailed it. Tesla dealership, little corner. Saturday Night Live was an amazing experience. You know, truly to be a part of it, it's the ultimate resume credit. But what I really learned there is if you take yourself too seriously in life, you're in a lot of trouble. I worked in an environment where people could dress up as samurai warriors in a New York deli, cone heads, bumblebees. All of that was perfectly acceptable. Saturday Night Live came into television in an era half the room won't even understand. In 1975, at 11:30 at night, what happened? Television went off the air. Do you remember it going off the air? You know, the flag went up, the jets flew over, and then until Saturday morning cartoons. Right? Do you remember sitting in front of the TV, waiting, snow, test pattern, doo. TV came back on the air. So it's good to be successful in a market where there's no competition. Yes? With my what? Our app. So we developed networking software to connect small business owners to each other to send and receive instant referrals. U-Link Network, you can find that on the web. Referral app. So a little tiny software company, made in America software. I'm going to donate an item for the drawing tonight. I put together a little gift bag. I put a manual iPad. Does anybody use an iPad? This is a manual iPad. It has a product that Tesla is working on as a lifetime battery. Never goes out. There's coffee mug. There's some other swag in there. So, any other questions? Be glad to answer them. Otherwise, I'll wrap up and put you on track. Back here. You know, in my year, I have to say Gilda Radner, I think, was probably one of the most gifted and talented. You know, the original not ready for primetime players, all certainly amazing and gifted, but I think she had a very special gift. Question up here. Were you going to ask the same question? No. Okay. Okay. Do I have an EV now? I do not. Don't judge. People, do not judge. Really, y'all be getting judgy on me. It's an honest question, and I don't know what dealership you work for, but no, I will, though. I test drove a new Volt. Tesla is a little bit out of my personal budget. No residuals from Saturday night. Sorry to say that. Yeah, awkward. But I think probably when a 2014 Volt comes off lease, I would look at that. We had an incredible lease deal at the time. We put down $5,000, $300 a month. When we turned it in 3 years later, the residual value was $9,000 lower. So I was very glad I didn't buy it. But you can pick up a 2013 Volt now, $13,000, $14,000. An amazing deal. So I would probably look at that. Unless there's someone at Tesla that needs me to drive it around town. Any other questions? One more. Yes. Well said. One last question? Nope. I've got the 30 seconds. I'm going to end a little early. Make sure you filled out the drawing to win the manual iPad. Thank you for having me as your speaker.
You know, I met Jim on a phone call. Somehow I got them this number that I was told by someone else on the board who remained anonymous, I think, that this is the guy that wanted to come and speak about audio system upgrades and installations for Teslas. So I called him out. I said, will you come and talk to our group about audio systems and upgrades? And he sort of, I guess so. Anyway, we got that worked out. So we may yet at some point bring someone Come on, there we go. And Jim, by the way, an amazing guy. He, beyond just doing giving the humorous take on life and helping people get motivated and take that humor and infuse it into their lives, he's also the founder of organizer of Folsom Lake Bank. He's been on the boards for the Folsom Lake Foundation, Folsom Lake College Foundation, Mercy Hospital Foundation, Folsom Economic Development Corporation. So this guy gets around a lot, and I'm glad, and I thank you again for taking the time to come talk with us. Okay, we're on the home run stretch now. We've got Aaron Schneider from ChargePoint, who's been very active in the area and have set, I think, some world's records on fast charging installations. I cannot believe the, like 0 to 60 in the Tesla time, but in charger installation. So I'm going to pass it on to you, Aaron, and tell us about the future here.
I didn't know I was going to be following a comic. So just out of curiosity, how many folks here have heard of ChargePoint or are familiar with ChargePoint? Okay. And how many of you have a ChargePoint card, a ChargePoint account? Okay. That kind of lines up with the numbers we see. All right. So just before I jump in, the story we kind of like to tell is, the largest taxi service in the world doesn't own any taxis. That's Uber, right? And the largest hotel provider in the world doesn't own any hotels. That's Airbnb. So the largest network provider of charging stations in the world, which is ChargePoint, we don't own the charging stations. So it's kind of an interesting thing that's going on in the marketplace today. Wanted to put that out there at the start. So let's get right into it. I don't know if everybody can see this too well, but you kind of have a great hockey stick growth in terms of electric vehicles being sold in the United States quarter by quarter. We're seeing about 400,000 sold in 2015, and you can see in the first quarter of 2016 some strong growth as well. About half of those vehicles sold today, almost half, are in in California. Right? This is great representation here this evening. You see it throughout the Bay. You see it in Southern California as well. What that means is that you also need more public charging, more charging in general, right? I think that's something we all know, we all see, and the fact that there's so many sales in this area demonstrate that need. So one of the questions I've been getting in the field lately is the low price of gas hurting EV sales? And the answer so far appears to be no. And why is that? The answer is the folks here at Tesla, and thank you for hosting us, have created a great driving experience, right? When somebody gets behind the wheel of an EV, they tend to not change, right? They tend to not go back. Jim, we'll find out where you go. Help me. But generally speaking, be it a Leaf, be it a Tesla, be it a Chevy Volt, folks enjoy the experience, and they're finding that this is actually a better way to drive. So what's on the road today? I'm not a car salesman. I don't mean to steal any thunder from Tesla. I think they've got tremendous cars. I'd love a Model X. I thought maybe we were getting to test drive this evening. We'll have to work that out. But you can see there's tremendous number of EVs on the road today. I'm not going to get into that. Everybody here has been out there. They're looking at vehicles. They kind of have a sense of what's out there today. What's exciting is that automakers beyond just Tesla are embracing electric vehicles. So Volkswagen is going into this very aggressively. Porsche is going into it extremely aggressively, right? A lot of folks here maybe at one time were looking at buying a Porsche and then they saw, oh, the Model S, which is more fun to drive, which reduces greenhouse gas emissions. I think I know which one I want. So we're seeing that development, as well as Daimler, BMW, who wants to put a plug on every one of their vehicles. So from a ChargePoint's perspective, this is very exciting because more cars on the road means more charging stations to sell. And then, of course, the Model 3. But maybe I'll put my reservation too on that day. Sounds like a party. So this slide, this is a projection from Navigant, independent market research firm. Where is the market going to go? They're forecasting in the next 8 years that there's going to be 4 million cars, 4 million electric vehicles sold in the United States. Could be more, could be less. Projections are kind of one of these kinds of things. But if you look at what the automakers are doing today and the commitments they're making, we're very excited about it. I think most excited about the work that Tesla's doing. It's exciting to see that in California. So who is ChargePoint? Sounds like folks are familiar. Folks know who we are. If not, check us out, go to the website. But our mission is to have EV charging everywhere. Once you have an EV, you realize the model is different, right? You don't drive until a quarter tank or you're almost empty and then find the nearest gas station. You're always continuously topping off. So our model is to provide a solution for each aspect of that life. So be it at home, at work, around town, you go to Target, you charge up, or out of town. And I think there's a real need for the out of town, for the corridor, for the range anxiety. Generally speaking, most folks aren't traveling salesmen who drive all over the place like me, right? Most people, their average commute's 30 to 40 miles. So an EV actually works, but that 5% of the time they're really nervous, they need to be able to know that you can get home. Can I get to Tahoe and back? So we're excited. We've got a lot of work going on to build out fast corridors. Guy, I owe you a detailed map to share with the team, with everybody, in terms of some fast chargers that we're putting out on major highway arteries. So there's a lot of work being done there. ChargePoint won a substantial amount of funding from the California Energy Commission to put these out there. We've also been doing work with other partners to put more fast charging in corridor areas. So areas that are along a highway and you need to charge in order to get home. For example, we've just put one in South Lake near Heavenly. Question?
Yeah, just definition terms.
Sure.
How would you compare fast charging in your lexicon with my Tesla supercharger?
So it depends on which charger you're at. We offer 2 DC fast chargers. One takes about 20 minutes, the other takes about 30 minutes to get to 80%, right? But depending on everybody's level of knowledge, it depends on the onboard battery, it depends on the connection, depends on how fast it's rated. There's a whole slew of back-end items that go into how fast you'll charge. But we're set up to charge you in 20 minutes.
Even as fast as I can take it.
Exactly.
Can I ask a follow-on question on that? I assume most of your fast chargers are like 50 kilowatt hour chargers. Do you expect you're going to have to upgrade those for 200-mile beds when they show up?
Not because of the 200-mile BEVs, but because the automakers are looking at bigger batteries in the cars. So it's more on what can the battery take than what can we make, right? So I can't give away too much, but yes, that's something we're looking at. These are good questions. Okay.
Are there any cars that can't take a fast charge?
That can?
I realize they have, it's based on the onboard charging.
Right.
Can they use a fast charger even if it's not as fast?
Yeah, of course. So long as they have the capability. So the question is, would you mind saying that again?
Well, maybe a naive question, but my question is, I realize it depends what kind of onboard charging your automobile has. But if you stop at a fast charger, even if your car won't take it that fast, will it still charge my car?
It depends on the car. So certain vehicles have the capability and certain vehicles don't. If you don't,
Charge slowly.
no. If you don't have that set up, you can't use the fast charger.
How would you know?
You'll know when you're buying the vehicle. You know by the type of vehicle you purchased. It's a question to ask in your buying decision.
I already own it.
We can send you a list too, right? Yeah. And the cord type, right? Right. So you can go look at your plug. We can send you a list too if you want to take a look at it.
I'm very active in the Bay Area Lead Group, and there's a lot of discussion lately about charging rates to the best way to encourage turnover and avoid people just kind of staying there. Do you have any thoughts on it, Louis? Are you looking what sort of different models are you looking at for charging structures to encourage turnover or find that sweet
Yeah.
spot?
Yeah, great question. So did everybody hear the question, or I'll repeat it. So the question is, are we looking at different models to encourage higher utilization of charging stations? So there's a station out there looking at the pricing. How do you encourage the best way to get more people to use the charging station, to get more cars passing through? So this is front and center in the ChargePoint world. When we sell the station to the site host, they have the option to set that pricing. They can make it free. They can charge it by the kilowatt hour. They can charge it by the hour. It's unlimited flexibility for them. One of the interesting things we've seen with our data is that if it's free, you get less turnover. There's less of an incentive to move your vehicle, right? I thought it was really interesting, the card hangers, right? Our goal is to eliminate the need for these. Right now, we need them. We all know we need them. But what happens, what we're seeing is if you put a price, you see a change in utilization. So if there's a price on a station to charge, you see more usage of that station. That means more cars and more people can come through and get a charge and get home. In addition to that, we have the option to include, everybody calls it a different thing. I'll call it a surge pricing, which says after 3 hours or after 4 hours, which for level 2 charging is typically more than sufficient to get you where you need to go, you set a surge price rate of $10 an hour, $20 an hour, whatever you want to do. And this is a big item in the Bay Area, a big item in Silicon Valley, where there's only so much charging and people need to move. And so the idea is you have that functionality, you set it up, and then you let folks know, hey, this money's, it's not going to line anybody's pockets, right? It's just going towards either buying more stations or charity, depending on your organization. So that's something we're seeing that's coming up very frequently, and we have a specific solution for that. Yeah.
As part of the models you're looking at, do you see reservation systems coming into play?
Yeah. I don't. The question was, do we see reservation systems coming into play? Absolutely. We offer a reservation system today for our workplace customers. So folks like Google, Apple, Facebook, LinkedIn, who have substantial EV charging at their office, even the smaller folks, right? Just a local shop who has a charging station or two there. We have the ability with our phone, right, with a smartphone, to put your place in line, right? And if you're in a meeting and you can't charge, you just hit snooze and you go to next in line. So it's an intelligent queue system to make it easier for the end user.
And that doesn't require Wi-Fi capability for the unit?
No, we're linked up cellularly. Yeah.
I just have a basic question. I guess I'm very confused what ChargePoint does or sells. Are you brokering chargers to companies? Or are you providing the swipey charge on a credit card? Or what is it that ChargePoint is?
Sure, it's a great question. We manufacture the hardware. We sell charging stations.
Okay.
And then we also provide a network solution to manage the stations. So it's a network station, which means we control the access of the station via your ChargePoint card. So it's hardware, software, and then we also provide ongoing maintenance if the customer wants it.
So
One more
why
question,
would
please.
a company want to put this?
It's an amenity and a benefit to their customer, or excuse me, to their tenant or to their employees. So when you look at the Bay Area and there's huge competition for talent, as well as in Sacramento, when you look at all that competition for workplace talent, it's just an additional amenity for your employee, as well as the sustainability benefits. We recently won an award with the United Nations for the greenhouse gas emissions we reduced. One of 16 companies worldwide. We're pretty proud of it.
Okay, now last question.
You talked about major roads. I have a Tesla, so I'm going to charge a Tesla on major roads. But since you're in the business of dealing with, charging sites, what's your projection of when the minor roads are going to have chargers around, so that just as casually I can, go to a gas station if I have a nice car, I'll be able to find a charging station anywhere I look. What's your kind of timeline guess? And I realize it's guess.
Right.
Where's that coming to?
Yeah. So So the question is, at what point is there going to be charging everywhere? In particularly, at what point is there going to be charging on major arteries or minor roads?
Tesla's everywhere.
Minor roads. Minor roads. Okay. So first of all, anybody who owns a Tesla can charge on ChargePoint, right? Any car can charge on our network, including our fast chargers. So I want to make that point. All the Tesla drivers out there, we love what Tesla's doing. You're also welcome to use our stations. You always have that ability. Okay. Second piece, when will charging be everywhere? We're a ways off, right?
20 years?
I don't think 20 years. I think we're seeing a lot of money at the state level. I think the mandates that Guy highlighted at the start were a great example. We have another slide where I want to send out a map of some of the corridor projects that are coming out. There's a recent funding opportunity there, several millions of dollars coming into specifically DC fast charging, as well as another round coming up. But it's a public and private gap, right? Who picks up this investment? So my ballpark, I mean, it's probably 2 to 5 years. It just depends on who's going to step up and make the investment. A lot of the automakers are investing in it, right? Tesla's invested in their network. BMW's investing in a network. Volkswagen's investing in a network. I highlighted the other folks who are getting into it. We're seeing utilities, right? Kansas City, the utility there bought 1,001 ChargePoint stations with no drivers in Kansas, right? And there was a debate: should we sell them these stations, right? Is this a good idea? But we're now starting to see, if you build it, they will come. The sales are there.
Are you aggressively going after apartment condo charging?
We have we have a specific solution for condo charging to make it easier, right? It's a different dynamic, but we absolutely have a specific solution for that. We're excited about it. There's some challenges there, and we're always working with both public and private companies to figure out a way to put more charging on the road. End of the day, we just want to make it a great driver experience. That's what we're all about. Good questions. So I'm trying to flip through here. Okay. So this is just quick, but I'll skip through it. I don't want to. On the left is the home unit, Amazon. Check it out. In the middle, we have a specific fleet unit. Anybody who operates fleets, we have a specific solution designed for that. It's a huge opportunity from a sustainability standpoint. In the middle is our mixed-use charger. That's what you'll see most frequently. And then on the right are our 2 fast chargers. And there's one in South Lake Tahoe now, so don't be too concerned. Down by Heavenly Village. Yeah, it'll be there soon. Sneak peek. I'm giving you a sneak peek. Sneak peek.
Trenching now.
Your fast charges, CHAdeMO, CCS, both?
Yeah, so one of them has both. One of the faster charger, the 50 kW charger, has both options. The smaller one, the site host picks.
What's 50 kW?
About 200. What's that? The 50 kW. Yeah. And this last piece was just about us. Some of the awards we've got, places to charge, and if you look really close, you'll see how much charging really is in Northern California versus the rest of the country. My colleagues in the Midwest are always, they're a little jealous. So with that, thank you for your time. I'm around. I'm happy to share more.
Thank you.
Thanks, Scott.
As we close, to thank Tesla for providing the facilities and being our host. ChargePoint as well for paying for the refreshments tonight. We do appreciate that.